Welcome to episode 10 of Action RPG game in Unity. Enemy attacking player and defeating the player. Player respawn. To restore enemy AI, we need to reference player character as a target, but our player character is placed on different scene, which make it impossible to reference him directly. So we need to find the way to reference player between scenes. Select Game Manager and create another new component called Game Manager. Open newly created script. Let's make it into singleton, so we will be able to easily access this object everywhere. Singletons doesn't work well with games with networking, so in the future, if you would be interested into making this game into multiplayer experience, you will have to redo some patterns, and we might come back to this and redo these patterns ourselves in the future if there will be enough demand for networking. Create public field for the player object. So now, because our player object and game manager is placed on the same scene, you will be able to reference the player character. Now in the enemy AI, on the start, we can reference the player character. Let's test this. Good, AI works once again. In the last episode we have implemented the animation of defeat of the enemy, but we haven't disabled the enemy functionality after he is defeated. Let's see this. If I activate enemy AI and defeat the enemy, he will proceed to slide around and still deliver damage to player, while being stuck in the defeated animation. Yeah, like this. So when we defeat the character, we need to stop him from acting. Let's create a new component called Character Defeat Handler. Inside, when we are defeated, we want to stop all the components which need to cease its activity when the object is defeated. In our case, it will be nav mesh agent, AI enemy, and collider. Create defeated method, where we will stop and disable all the components we cached. And now in the character, when we are defeated, we want to call defeated on the defeat handler. And that's it. After defeating enemy will be lying on the floor and be inactive. Let's make it possible to defeat our player. So add character defeat handler to our player character object. Because our character may not have an AI enemy, check if it's not null. Then cache all the relevant for player components, mostly inputs. And disable them on defeated. Now if our player is defeated, we will not be able to control the character anymore. Good. Please consider supporting me on Patreon. You will get cool perks like being featured like those cool people you can see on your screen right now, or access to the project files. Good, with this done, we want to introduce an ability to respawn our player after being defeated. Select player character and create another new script called character respawn. The script will be responsible for respawning the character when he is dead. Create two local variables, vector3 respawn point and string respawn scene name. We will use respawn scene name in the future when we will be respawning on different scenes. For now, let's handle respawning at some position on the scene. Create new method called respawn. Move the character on respawn to the respawn position. Let's save the respawn position as the position where we start our game. We will change this later on. Then we need to restore this input capability and movement capability of the character. Cache the character defeat handler. Create and call a new method called respawn. Inside respawn, set every component to be enabled. Good. Now when we are defeated, we want to show the panel with buttons which will respawn us. So create a panel. Put a defeated text on the screen and button called respawn. Then in onClick event on the button, call respawn from the character to, well, respawn the character. Hide the defeated panel. Good. When we are getting defeated, we need to show the panel. In the character defeat handler, create two new variables. Boolean variable for marking if this is player object, and reference to the panel. Set them in the editor. When we are defeated, show the defeated panel. Now when we respawn, we want to restore the character stats. We need to heal him to his max state of health. Create and call on the character a new method called restore. Which will restore our life pool to full value. To this we will create a new method on the value pools called fullRestore, which will refill the pool to the max value. If everything is set correctly, if I get defeated right now, I will be able to be respawned. Strange. Oh, we forgot to catch the reference to the defeat handler. Good, but our character is stuck in the defeated animation. Open character respawn and create serialized reference to the animator. And play the idle animation. Make sure it is exactly named the same as your idle animation and animator controller. Set the defeated state to be false. We need to reset the state of being dead in the character when we are getting full restore. Good. Okay, now let's polish our code a little. In the character defeat handler, our default and respawn methods are the same. We are repeating ourselves. The only difference is the state to which we are setting, so we can pass the state as a parameter. So create a new method called setState. Inside, set the past state to all the components. There is 3 exceptions. Agent is stopped, which will be inverted. Character restore, only going to be called when we are respawning, in this case when we are passing the true state, and defeated panel will be inverted. And instead of repeating ourselves, just use set state in the defeated, it will pass false, and in the respawn, it will pass true. Let's test this. Good, this is it for this episode. Special thank you to Andrew Vilong, FirePC, The Salt HDO, and LP Massive for their generous support. With best regards, see you in the next episode.